residents are not happy with their once-a-week watering schedule, especially now that we are out of the drought. That is according to a new survey by the city. Despite this, it doesn't look like the current Stage 2 water restrictions will change anytime soon. Fox 7's Bridget Spencer joins us live from City Hall with more tonight.
Rebecca, we all know in this city a substantial amount of rain comes few and far between, and that is what the mayor is most concerned about. Now, this survey asks for opinions. The results show a city divided. Mother Nature can be an unpredictable force to be reckoned with. Mayor Steve Adler realizes that.
I remember well when our lake levels were down, the people that were coming to me and suggesting that we needed to spend billions of dollars to develop a water conveyance system.
Now that lake levels are back up, many Austinites feel the Stage 2 water restrictions should be lifted.
I recognize that there are some people that would like to have more water to water their lawns more often.
But the mayor says that won't be happening anytime soon. A city survey shows 41% say they agree with the Stage 2 restrictions, but an overwhelming 55% disagree.
I think our community is divided on this issue.
Adler says what he doesn't want to do is lift restrictions and get into another drought. He says he doesn't want the city to have to spend billions of dollars to build infrastructure to get water elsewhere.
I want to do everything we can to preserve our ability to protect the water that we have.
Adler says Austin has been in this position before, so he expects the community to abide by the rules.
I think this community proved that we could do well with Stage 2 restrictions.
Now, right now, if you're unclear when you can use your sprinkler system, we will have that information posted on this story on Fox7austin.com. Back to you in the studio.
Bridget Spencer, live from downtown tonight. Now, Mayor Adler is at odds with some members of the City Council who agree the Stage 2 restrictions should be lifted. Here's a look at the restrictions we are talking about. Once-a-week watering for residential, commercial, and public schools. The day you water depends on your address, except for public schools that always water on Mondays. Other restrictions, washing cars at home and charity car washes are prohibited, and restaurants may not serve water unless it is requested by customers. Here to weigh in on the issue is District 6 City Councilman Don Zimmerman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rebecca, for having me again.
So why do you support easing these restrictions?
It's a great question, and I want to go back to something the mayor mentioned. We do have rules in place, and those rules were passed in August of 2012. It's called the Drought Contingency Plan. And if we were to abide by the Drought Contingency Plan, which caused the water rate restrictions to be imposed, we would have already been out of both Stage 2 and Stage 1 watering restrictions. So my basic point is we need to follow the rules that were put in place in 2012, and in that case, we would be already out of these watering restrictions.
Now, we have seen how quickly drought conditions have deteriorated in Texas in the past. Some have suggested with residents and businesses already used to Stage 2 restrictions, it would be better to make them permanent. In other words, why use more water when we don't need to? What is your response to that?
Well, our response is that the city taxpayers have already paid tens of millions of dollars to pre-purchase water. So we've already purchased the water that we're not being allowed to use. And again, I need to emphasize the fact that if we put rules in place that impose watering restrictions, and that plan also calls for lifting watering restrictions, we need to stay with the plan and just not arbitrarily have the bureaucrats change their mind after the rules have already been put in place. And those rules are not based on opinions, they're based on lake levels. 600,000 acre feet, 900,000, 1.1, 1.4 million acre feet. So there are certain objective triggers that you can measure that say when you go into restrictions and when you come out. You know, the whole issue of this is it underscores that we have a city management that is tone deaf to what the constituents say, and in fact the city management won't even follow its own rules. And the way we have to fix this problem is we have got to change city management.
Okay, thank you for your time tonight because we are out of time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Don Zimmerman, thank you for sharing your perspective with us tonight.